Welcome to our Yoga Chats with me, your host, Greg Walsh. This is our inaugural session, and today I'm delighted to welcome my old friend, or should I say my long-term friend and collaborator, Maria Caldwell. Maria, I have worked with for many years. She's been teaching classes in Samadhi yoga studios since apparently 2006, and she's been on the Samadhi teacher training faculty for 6 years at this stage. Maria is a yoga lifer. I find her dedication to the practice is quite inspiring. I also, I don't know if she realizes this, but I turn to Maria for social media advice, to cook up new ideas. She's a great brainstormer, and she's brilliant at discussing ethics. I find she's very well clued in on what is the right thing to do. So Maria, many thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much, Greg. I'm kind of blushing here a little bit hearing that, but it's really quite an honor for me to be the first guest, but even more than that, to be part of the Samadhi family. It is a family, and I'm really happy to be part of it. So thank you very much.
For me, it was a no-brainer who to invite, because you, Maria, have been at me that we should do some video. So it took me ages. I never do anything first, but if I set my mind, I do it. So I really thank you for getting us off the ground. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And the first one, I'm wondering, as a long-time yoga practitioner, because I know, like, you started working in Samadhi 2006, but I know you before that, and I know of you before I know you. So, and always through yoga. So over the years, has your concept of yoga changed, or does yoga mean something different to you now to when you began?
I think that's a super question. And there's a long answer and a short answer, I suppose. The short answer is yes. But the long answer, I suppose, is that that's definitely something that has evolved quite slowly over time. And I'm pretty sure that it would be the same for a lot of people who are long-time practitioners, because when you start yoga first, you're kind of like really into it. And as you know, I mean, I had a few years kind of doing some Hatha Vinyasa Iyengar before I decided to do a teacher training. And then I got really involved in Ashtanga and the Mysore scene. And that is an intense way to practice, and it's quite involved, and I loved it, every single moment of it, and the lessons that I learned, not just in terms of my yoga practice, but in terms of dedication to something. I know it's going to be something that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life. But yeah, your approach changes. There's always that sort of youthful enthusiasm honeymoon period. And most people actually, as you know yourself, like, they kind of fall off after that. And then yoga is something they just kind of pick up every now and again. And then for a few other people, it's going to be something that they decide, yeah, I want to be able to do this, because they see kind of physical benefits and mental benefits as well. And then there are people who decide, yeah, I'm happy to do my couple of classes, but I want something a little bit more. And it then becomes something that you adopt into your lifestyle. And I think when you're at the stage where you're adopting something into your lifestyle, it's got to start to fit your life a little bit. And so that means that your practice can kind of change, because life changes, we get older, we work with different, we have different caring responsibilities, and maybe we're working with like a little bit of injury or whatever. And so you kind of can start to see how the practice is always something there as a tool to support your life. It's something that the practice gives you an awful lot back. And I know for me, it's always been like, it's really been like kind of an anchor. When I roll out my mat, I sit on my mat, like, it's kind of like, it's a safe space. Like, this is where I am me, and I can be me, and that's it. Whether I'm, doing a meditation or doing pranayama or doing a long yoga practice or whatever it is, you kind of have that space. So I think there's, so yeah, and I know it's going to be like that, for the rest of my life, but I think it takes a bit of time before you can kind of get to there. And I think you have to stop putting so much expectations on what it is that you should be achieving out of every single time you get on the mat. It's just about getting on the mat. if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. There's so much to unpack in that answer that you gave, and I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, and it does. It really changes for me. My goals have well, it's become more just do it, just show up and do it. Do it for what it is. Don't do it for any goal, because the means is the end in a way. And what you said brings me on to my next question, which is, for you, which is more important, consistency or intensity?
I think if you'd asked me that question 15 years ago, I might have had a slightly different response to the one I'm going to give you now. But with the benefit of age and hindsight, I'm able to kind of give a different answer. And I hope it's going to be something that maybe people who are just starting on the yoga journey, or maybe somebody's thinking about being a teacher or something, like kind of takes on board. Consistency trumps intensity, like every single time. And sincerity trumps passion every single time. So it's about being consistent, and it's about being sincere with what that effort is on that day. And you know, if my husband watches this, I know he's going to be laughing, because you know, I'm a reforming A-type person, but he would say I'm probably not very well reformed at all. But I definitely would be a more sort of A-type alpha kind of person. And then that means that for me, like yoga, the attraction of Ashtanga yoga especially was that intensity. You know, I really kind of was attracted to that part of the practice, like the sweat, the work, all of it. And I still absolutely love it. But now I'm starting to kind of see, you know, it doesn't need to be like that every single day for it to be a good practice. You know, you can get on your mat, knock out 10 sun salutations, do some pranayama, take a shavasana. If you are sincere in the effort for those 15 minutes, instead of like grinding something out for an hour and a half, then those 15 minutes are infinitely better for you than just kind of going through the motions for an hour and a half. So for me, it's definitely about consistency. And you can't maintain 100% every single day. There's got to be days where you pull back. You have to have rest days for the days that you are going at 100%. And I firmly believe that if you're getting on the mat every day, whether it's for 5 minutes or for 50 minutes or for an hour and a half or whatever you've got, it's better than jumping on for an hour and a half once or twice a week and killing yourself every single time you do it, you know. So yeah, for me, it's definitely consistency over intensity and sincerity over passion.
Yeah, I am with you 100%. I think your body needs that. You know, you're going to injure yourself. Some days I just don't have it. Some days I you know, I don't want to do anything. And so I'll lie down, I'll do some leg stretches and see where that leads. I think
yeah. That's the yoga as well, though. I mean, the thing is that yoga is about discernment. You know, that's the learning. That's kind of what the yoga is. It's kind of like knowing, you know, when you need to do what it is that you need to do. So I think that's definitely been a lesson, I think, that took a while for me to kind of really get into, but yeah.
But that's the joy of it as well. There's so many possibilities once you let yourself a little bit off the hook like that. And you know, it's cheesy, but listening to your body. Some days it's not going to work well if you just push yourself through a hard practice. You need to listen to cycles in the body. But I think doing it is always worthwhile, whatever it is that you choose to do. Can I ask you another question?
Yes.
So, because here we are, you're in the west of Ireland, I'm in the capital, and we chat regularly on the phone and by Zoom, but we haven't actually seen each other in over a year. And we've gotten so used to this, and we're all teaching, like Samadhi right now is purely an online yoga studio, and the space is sitting there dormant. Someday we'll get back in. But how do you find teaching yoga online?
Well, hand on my heart, I never in a million years thought I would be someone that would be teaching yoga online. I definitely had to just get over myself and do it. It's kind of like, I mean, I've kind of taken it as like this time last year when we were starting, you know, we didn't really know what the next few weeks or months or obviously year was going to have in store. But for me, I was like, yeah, you know what? I want to do this. This would be a really good learning exercise for me anyway. But the real reason was because I really want to make sure that Samadhi gets through this. We have such a great community of students, and there's so much kind of love and happiness and fun when we meet in real life. Oh God, I'm getting a little bit emotional. But like, I absolutely love walking through those doors and meeting those students. And for me, it was really important that we try to maintain that whatever way we could. And if I was going to be able to be part of that and to help keep that alive, then I really wanted to do that. But I have to say, like, I've learned so much along the way. I've kind of started to become less afraid of technology. That's the first thing. I've kind of lost a little, well, I still get really nervous when I'm on camera. I get nervous every single time I teach. I get nervous every single time I switch on the Zoom every Thursday for my class. But like, that's good. It's good to have that little bit of nervousness because it keeps you on your toes. But my sense is that teaching online is going to be something that's going to be part of how all yoga studios and yoga teachers are going to have to include in their repertoire going forward. And I see it as an opportunity. I don't see it as this thing that we have to do now because we can't meet in person. I mean, you know, it's an opportunity to reach way more people than you would have been able to before because people are in their own homes. They feel a little bit more comfortable maybe. And when we open real life studio spaces again, those people will come back. But I think we're still going to be able to reach people with online. I do think the future is kind of like a hybrid, for the yoga industry in total. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, the more people that can be involved and the more it can be accessible to as many different populations as possible, I think that that's a really good thing. And I think online has allowed that to happen, maybe in a way that we weren't all prepared for, but I'm taking it as a positive opportunity as opposed to something that's negative.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think for me, like 18 months ago, if you had said to me, Maria, Greg, would you teach online? I would have been very dismissive, to be polite about it. I would have possibly struggled to be polite about it. I would have thought that it didn't have the same kind of merit at all. And you know, okay, so we can't see perhaps the angle of the outer edge of someone's foot sometimes or whatever, but I really think for the ease, you know, people don't have to commute to come in. They missed a crack in the chat and, you know, the hugs, or these days it's the elbow bumps, but they can walk from their kitchen table stroke desk to their couch, throw down their mat, practice is on. There's a wonderful ease like that, which means that they can practice more regularly with their teachers. And you and I both teach in such a long time. Oh, we're so old. I find, you know, I'm getting people who've moved abroad and you're the same, and the reach is magic. The reach is amazing. So I think for all of these reasons, it's absolutely here to stay. And I do think, like, we're kitting up Samadhi with, you know, screens and all that, so that we will be able to do a hybrid form that some people can come in and some people can stay doing it from home. So because we don't want to switch off to those people who have been able to reconnect with us through the online medium. And to me, it feels like everyone comes over to my house and we do yoga together. I love it. I love it. Sorry, you were going to say.
Yeah, actually, I was just actually going to say that, like, it's such a privilege to be kind of invited into people's homes. And I take that as a privilege. It's not something that I kind of take lightly. And I suppose I'm kind of really grateful for that, especially, you know, people who leave their cameras on and everything. It's like they're inviting you in. It's like, yeah, this is me, come look at me, you know, this is where I am. I love seeing the dogs and the babies kind of like wander through, like it's something that's just,
and the cats.
And it's, you know, but it's kind of like, that's something that, you know, well, you know, yourself, I mean, yoga is a householder practice. It was something that was done. It's not supposed to be exclusive. And I think that online has kind of democratized yoga in a way that maybe has happened really quickly. And I think that that's kind of been very positive as well. And I also think that it has allowed people to really kind of explore their own practice more. You know, because you don't have a teacher like that's move your foot here, do this, do that. You know, people have to just kind of like figure it out for themselves, like kind of what's the thing that's kind of like feeling right. And I think that that's good as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has become a little bit of a bridge between practicing with the teacher in a studio and practicing at home. Because you're practicing at home, sure, you still have guidance and a voice, but it stems some of that gap, because for many people that was a huge gap. And a struggle I always hear from people is, I can't practice at home. I don't know what to do. I don't have space. Well, you've made space now, and you just do what you do all the time with your teacher. And so I think it's opened a lot of doors. So thank you for being part of part of the new frontier. Is there any takeaway that you feel viewers can take away from our chat today?
Yeah, sure. I think the first thing is don't worry about it. Don't put too much expectations on yourself. You know, the thing is, if you're getting on the mat for 10 minutes and you're enjoying it, it's better than being on the mat for an hour and not enjoying it. To, you know, embrace, I guess, the amazing opportunity that you have by being able to practice at home, because it's allowing you to draw yoga into your life more, as opposed to it being something that is like external, like you have to go to this place to do it. It's kind of showing you, yeah, you can do it wherever you want, and you can just kind of adopt it into your life. And yeah, you know, just enjoy it. It's something to be enjoyed, and I think that that's the key thing.
That is such good advice, and that's advice that's not said often enough. Take pleasure in it. It's fun. It's lovely, and we have it here, and we can all do it ourselves. We can do it with the teacher. We can do it ourselves. Everything is wide open these days. So, Maria, on behalf of all of our viewers, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to have these yoga chats with me today. And that's all for now, folks. I'm Greg Walsh. Thank you for watching. I hope you can join us for more yoga chats soon.